Good morning, everyone. How are you? Thank you for joining. Welcome to today's webinar on how to implement and succeed with lead scoring. I'm Patrick Hayes, Customer Success Manager here at HubSpot, and I'd like to start just by going over some housekeeping items for today's webinar. Okay, so just so everyone's aware, on this Zoom webinar, I just want to make you aware of three things. So all attendees are automatically muted by default, so I'll be talking to myself. Please ask questions using the Q&A box on the Zoom, and I'll get to them at the end of the presentation. The runtime for today's webinar is approximately 30 minutes, and as I said, I'll go through any questions at the end. And this is being recorded for training purposes, so keep it clean. And now let's just have a quick look at today's agenda. So what we're going to cover today in 30 minutes is what is lead scoring, the benefits of lead scoring, how to score a lead. We're going to look at a case study. I'm going to do a live demo, and then we're going to have the recap and Q&A. So it's going to be about 30 minutes, as I said. So what is lead scoring? So where I wanted to start was the HubSpot sales and marketing funnel. So hopefully you've all seen this before at some point. So this funnel represents the typical journey of a person from being a complete stranger to your business to becoming a customer and eventually a promoter. And also it shows the HubSpot tools that help them on that journey. So if we think about a typical, we'll say, a journey, normally a person will find your website either on Google, social media, or through paid advertising, and they'll become a lead by filling out a form, giving you their email address to download a piece of content. And lead scoring fits in at the close stage of the sales or marketing funnel, helping you to turn leads into customers. So now let's define what is lead scoring. So here's the definition. So lead scoring is a way to predict a person's readiness to buy based on a set of data and activities. So if we think back to the previous slide with the HubSpot sales and marketing funnel, as a lead demonstrates a higher degree of sales readiness qualification, they move down the funnel. And lead scoring is a way to help you identify those hot and cold leads and help you to move those hot leads down the funnel and try and warm up any of the cold leads. So lead scoring helps you to convert leads into customers by prioritizing the leads most likely to convert. And the goal of lead scoring is to try to calculate when somebody becomes sales ready. So if you think about the leads in your database at the moment, some leads are looking for something that you offer, but they're not ready to buy. Some know what they want, but they're ready to buy now. So how do you figure out who is who? So who's a potential customer of yours? Who is a tourist? So the solution is lead scoring. You want to target your hottest leads first and strike off any of the lowest scorers. And the great thing is lead scoring complements all marketing automation processes in HubSpot. So lead scoring is part of the overall HubSpot system, and it integrates natively with things like forms, workflows, lists. So the things you're already using, you can incorporate lead scoring into that. So for example, you can create a workflow that sends engagement emails to a list of leads with a lead score of less than 50 to try and warm them up. So that's just one example, and we'll go through some more examples. And lead scoring starts with defining what a marketing qualified lead is for your business. Okay, so what's a marketing qualified lead? A marketing qualified lead, or MQL, is a lead judged to be more likely to become a customer compared to other leads based on certain criteria. Okay, and we'll get into what those criteria are in a minute, how to identify those. So determining a marketing qualified lead takes a partnership between sales and marketing. So by working backwards, your marketing and sales organizations can become more effective by agreeing on and recognizing key purchase triggers and also who your ideal customers are will help everyone be more successful. So, for example, just imagine you sit down with your top biller from last quarter, the best-selling sales guy, saleswoman, and you realize that most of their deals came from companies with more than 200 employees, or where the lead had downloaded one particular piece of content and then went on to request a demo and become a customer. So those sequences of events, you can bake that into a lead score. So the next time a contact in your database has that behavior, we're going to highlight those and get them over to sales as soon as possible. So what you're looking for really is commonality. So what do all our customers have in common? And the way to create this MQL definition with sales is to ask yourself 3 questions. So the first question is, what are the attributes of leads who became customers? So, for example, are most of our customers from a company size of more than 200 employees? Are they from a particular industry? They have a particular job title? What are the attributes of leads who didn't become customers? So, for example, if your lead maybe was too junior to make a buying decision, they're from the wrong industry, they didn't have the budget, it wasn't a product fit. And what attributes indicate someone's a good fit or a bad fit for your product? Okay, so you need to ask yourself these 3 questions. And then to help then develop your MQL definition, you want to kind of base that on a combination of fit and interest that's right for your company. So let's start with fit. So if we focused only on fit, it would be a contact, we'll say, so this is an example, with the job title of HR business partner who works at a financial services company in the UK with more than 5,000 employees. So this is our ideal lead. They're a really good fit for our product. And a focused on interest level would be a contact with any title who works at any company who has requested a product demonstration. So they're interested in our product. So if you think about your own business, some marketers may focus more on fit because they have a really niche market. So for example, HR software for finance companies, for example, or other marketers may have a broad customer base and focus more on interest level. So if you were selling something like, I don't know, t-shirts or sunglasses or something. And on the next slide, I just want to show you this kind of matrix, right? So here's one way to assess lead quality and determine whether a lead is ready for a sales follow-up. So as a marketer, you want leads in the top right-hand corner who have a right fit, so a high fit, and also a high interest. And it's up to you to target and attract the right fit leads and generate the right interest level that make them sales ready. So every company's definition of an MQL will vary, but it should reflect a combination of kind of traits and actions that indicate a lead is both a good fit for your company and they have a high interest level, meaning they're ready to talk to a salesperson. Okay. So next, I want to talk about the benefits of lead scoring. So why are we going to do this? So many marketers may be handing over leads to sales too soon, and many more may be handing over leads to sales too late. So a lot of marketing teams still guess about when the right time is to pass a lead over to sales. And without having like a consistent framework or a model, your leads can be hit or miss, and nobody wants that. And lead scoring allows for a common language between marketing and sales, which will breed that alignment on what is a marketing qualified lead and when someone is ready to talk to sales. Another benefit, it helps marketing identify leads who need to be touched with more lead nurturing first. So what I mean by this, so for example, if a lead is a good fit, but they have low interest, you can engage that lead with more helpful, interesting, or educational content to drive them to your website, and increase their interest level. So you can try and ramp up their interest level because they're already a good fit. So pique their interest, and then at a certain point, then that means they'll be ready to talk to sales. Another benefit is it maximizes the efficiency of your sales team. So they can easily identify and work only the leads who are sales ready. So give the sales team an open door to go through, and they'll thank you for it. So sales should love the marketing team for providing, excellent quality leads. And handing leads over to sales is important. It's important to focus on quality over quantity. So let's just say, for example, if you attended a trade show and you were giving away keyrings, and for someone to get a keyring, they had to give you their email address, okay? What you've got there are a bunch of people that were either interested in your product or wanted a keyring, or people that maybe were interested in your product and wanted a keyring. But instead of just dumping that trade show list onto sales, what you can first do is apply a lead score to these people to see, are they the right fit and are they actually interested? So on the next slide, so for the next section, I'm actually going to go into how to score a lead with tips. So first of all, I want to introduce like a 3-point framework to create the qualities that help you to score a lead. Okay, so there's going to be 3 areas. So the first one is demographic scoring. So this is explicit information that your leads and contacts have provided or you have gathered. So these are things like job title, company size, location. So these are like indisputable facts. Okay. The next thing then is their behavior. So this is called behavioral scoring. So this is implicit information that you have collected from activity on your website, in your product, or other channels. So these are things like number of website visits, content downloaded, the types of pages they visited, do they follow you on LinkedIn? So these are behavioral aspects. And we also have negative scoring. So what this means is what information or behavior indicates when someone is actually a bad lead. So for example, if someone downloads a content offer with a personal email address, or maybe their job title is too junior, so they're not going to be able to make that buying decision, or they're from an industry you don't sell to. Okay. And this kind of maps out those explicit and implicit attributes. Okay. So on the left-hand side, we have all the explicit piece of information. So as I said, these are things a contact has told you, such as title, location. So if we just go through some of these, so it's going to be things like role, industry, employees, and we also have negative ones here, okay? So the critical roles are VP of sales, and the industry is technology. The negative one would be if the role was, if someone identified themselves as a student, or if they were unemployed, then we're not going to be able to sell our software to these people, okay? And if we flip over then to the implicit side, so again, this is behavior. So has someone downloaded an ebook? Have they visited some maybe high value websites of ours? What was their engagement like in the last 30 days? So are they giving you signals that they're interested in maybe finding out more about your product and becoming their customer? So have a think about, where did they convert? What information do you have on them? And what we're going to do now is we're going to bake that into a score. But first, I want you to start with what you already know. So let's just say if you did sit down with sales and they give you 10 key metrics of an ideal customer, and you don't have that today, you don't have to try and be perfect from day one. So you can start small and grow from there. So think about the explicit, the things a contact has already told you. So on your existing forms, what do you ask for today before someone downloads a piece of content? Do those need to be changed? And then things like implicit behavior, so page visits, activities, those signals, are you monitoring them closely enough? And do you have a system set up to kind of capture that detail? The next piece of advice I want to give you is to have a 0 to 100 scale. So putting a score between 0 and 100 is what is recommended. And then you can weight points in relation to different criteria. about like a lead's readiness. So when you set the point value for your leads based on these kind of key qualities that we're going to identify, then you're able to decide at which point a total score would validate sending them to sales. So for example, if you had a 0 to 100 scale, as I'm recommending, any lead, you could decide any lead with a score greater than 80 will go to sales. Any lead with a score between 20 and 80 will be nurtured further by marketing. And any leads that have a score of less than 20, you're going to keep them in a pool for now, and you might try and re-engage them at a later point. Okay, so I'd recommend to start with a 0 to 100 scale just for simplicity. The next tip I have is to capture better data. Okay, so you need to get better at capturing better data. So are you asking the right questions on forms? Is there a way to better qualify leads at the point of conversion? So are we asking a lead for their job title? Are we asking them to select their country, number of employees, things like that from a drop-down? So you're going to get better data. And one of the ways to do this is to use what we call progressive profiling. So if you haven't seen this before, progressive profiling is just a way to make your forms on HubSpot smart. Okay, you're going to make them intelligent. So if somebody has already come to your website and they've filled out some information, such as first name, last name, favorite book, company name, the next time they visit your website and maybe they're going to download a new piece of content, we won't ask them the same questions twice. We're now going to ask them these queued progressive questions. So we already know their first name, last name. So we're not going to ask them that again. This time we're going to ask them their industry or their city, things like that. So if you're not doing this already and you're conscious about the data you're collecting today, then take a look at progressive profiling. And it's under forms, smart forms. Okay, good. The next piece of advice I have is don't overcomplicate it. Okay, so you need to whiteboard it out and build it up slowly and work out the kinks in advance. If you kind of jump straight into the tool, it might get a little bit confusing. So just take that time to map it out on a piece of paper first, and then build it in the system. And you don't need to have all the bells and whistles from day one. So if you just start with a few basics, so a few metrics, and grow from there. So what would the basics be? So job title, location, number of page views, number of emails opened, things like that. Okay. So now I just wanted to look at a case study, and it's pretty close to my heart. It's HubSpot. So if you think about HubSpot, right, the HubSpot marketing team, they have a ton of downloadable content, such as marketing ebooks, ultimate guides, things like that. And we also have email signature generators and other tools that are gated behind a form. So what's the problem here? So the problem is we get a ton of students who download our marketing guides for study, plagiarism, for an assignment, for their own knowledge, whatever. So these students, we don't want our HubSpot sales team, so or like business development representatives or account executives contacting students about an enterprise HubSpot solution. It's a waste of time. So what's the solution? So the solution is negative lead scoring, which we described earlier. So the way we've set it up is if an email address contains .edu or .studentmail, we're going to give those people a negative score to make sure that they're kind of struck off, and they're not going to be on our sales team's radar, because that's going to be a waste of time. So this is just one example of how HubSpot use lead scoring to flush out people that are not our marketing Marys, who's like our key persona. Okay, cool. So now what I wanted to do is just jump into the tool, and I'm just going to go into my test portal where I've kind of played around and I've built a lead scoring model as an example. Okay, live demo. This is going to be dangerous. Okay, so what I have here is, as I said, it's on my own test portal, and lead scoring lives under contacts and lead scoring. Okay, so that's how to find it. And if we come down here, what I've done is I've done my 0 to 100 point scale, and I've given some of these 20 points, so I've weighted them pretty heavy, and I've given some of them 10, so not that heavy. So a couple of things that I'm looking at for positive attributes. Number of page views is greater than 2. Okay, so this means they've come to my website more than twice. I could refine this so that it means the customer has visited my website on more than 1 or 2 occasions in the last 30 days or in the last 2 weeks. Okay, so you're able to set up that level of intelligence. The company property industry is equal to construction. So I'm selling to people in the construction industry. We're selling quantity surveying software. We only sell to people in the construction industry. Do they work at a company who's labeled the industry as construction? Has my contact visited an exact URL on my website? So this could be, we'll say, a high value web page that you have, which could be your pricing page, or it could be where someone requests a demo or something like that. You can put in here an exact URL. So if they've visited this page, if someone's visited your pricing page, then that's a signal that they're probably thinking about buying. Okay. As I said here, time of last visit is less than 30 days ago. So in the last 30 days, they have visited my website. Okay, so as I said at the start, you're going to have hot leads and cold leads. If someone's visiting your website now, then now is probably a good time to speak to them, not when they go cold and they forget who you are. The contact property, emails opened, is greater than 1. So if we're already marketing to these people and sending them emails, are they even opening your emails? Okay, so this is key. Are they alive? Are they active? And is the contact property location in the UK? So I only sell my quantity surveying software to the construction industry in the UK. So it's vital that all my contacts are in the UK. Okay, and on the negative side, the contact location, the contact property location, if it's equal to Ireland or any other country, I'm not interested. We don't sell to Ireland. We only sell to the UK. And what you can do here is you can actually test a contact to see what score they would get. So let's just say you have a contact in mind that was your ideal customer. Your marketing Mary arrived to your website, they did everything you expected them to do, and they became a customer. You can sense check your lead scoring here against that person. And the way to do it is just go test contact. And I'm going to select Bahad, and I'm going to go test. Bahad has a score of 20. Why does he have a score of 20? Because he looked at my website more than twice. Okay? He has a score of 20 and only 20 because his industry is not equal to construction. Maybe I don't know this about him yet, or maybe he's from a different industry. Maybe he hasn't visited this website, etc. Also, he doesn't have a negative score because his location is not Ireland or other. So maybe I don't know what his location is right now. Okay. Cool. So as I said, 5 to 10 metrics, and you can test the contact to make sure it does what you want and you have that expected behavior. And if you come in here, what you're going to do is you're going to add a new set, and this will look familiar. So this is kind of similar to, we'll say, if you were creating a custom report or if you were creating a list. And any contact property, company property, list membership, form submission, email, page view, they're all possible as a criteria for lead scoring, for putting a weight behind someone, okay? So if we go to contact property here, select it from the drop-down, so whatever it is, so let's just say employees, and then you could go greater than, less than, unknown, whatever you need, okay? If you're kind of coming in here and you're playing around with the tool and you're not sure what score to assign to people, you can just set the score to 0, okay? And then come back at a later time and decide what weights you want to give to those metrics. Okay, cool. So the next thing I want to show you then is how this kind of ties into everything else, okay? So we just know now that Bahad has a score of 20. And that is captured now on the About section of Bahad. So let's just say I'm on the sales team and I can see that Bahad is not a good fit right now. Maybe he doesn't have the right fit or the right interest because his HubSpot score is only 20. So he hasn't done the other expected behaviors, or he doesn't meet certain criteria that warrants me giving this person a phone call. Okay. So once you have your HubSpot score system up and running, it'll start to be stamped on contacts. Okay. And then the benefit of that is that we can actually create a list. So based on, so if you haven't created a list before, you just go contacts, lists, and you can create a list based on the HubSpot score. So what I've done here is the HubSpot score is greater than 0. So this means they actually have a score, but it's less than 50. So 50 is kind of the tipping point for whether someone is hot or cold in my world, okay, in my business. And I have 2 contacts here, Bahad and Douglas, who meet that criteria. So what I can now decide to do, the other thing is, because this is a smart list, this will update continuously. So as different contacts take different actions, they visit my pricing page, they self-identify as being from a certain industry, this list will dynamically update, as will the HubSpot score, okay? And what we can do now, because we have a list, is we can create a workflow. So we can have, based on the criteria I've set up, my enrollment trigger is going to be list membership is HubSpot score less than 50. Okay, so that's going to be those 2 guys. And the action is going to be, I'm going to send them an email. And the email I'm going to send them is going to be a consideration stage email. So I'm trying to get them to give me more information, come back to my website, show signs of life, signs of a signal that they're ready to buy. Okay, so that's how starting from a lead score here gets stamped on a contact, helps you to create dynamic lists that automatically update, and also help you to create workflows to engage contacts that are maybe cold. And if any contacts are hot, your sales team will be able to go in and you'll be able to create a list of any contact that has a HubSpot score of, let's say, greater than 80 and work those leads. Cool. That's the end of the demo. It went well, I think. So what I'm going to do now is I just want to take a second just to help you figure out if lead scoring is for you. Okay. So now that you know about lead scoring, you need to decide if it's a good fit for your business and if you want to implement it. Okay. Only 20% of HubSpot customers use lead scoring. So lead scoring is one of those HubSpot tools that's either underutilized or it's not used at all. And you need to evaluate whether your business is one that could actually benefit from lead scoring system and whether you want to roll it out. So there's a few kind of questions I think you need to be able to answer. And these are, does your sales team get enough leads today? So if your sales team doesn't get enough leads to begin with, lead scoring is probably not necessary. Instead, as a marketing team, you should be focused on generating more leads. And that's a different project. That's you creating more content, doing more social, trying to generate more leads. Okay, so if you're not getting enough leads, then you need to generate more leads. First, does your sales team complain about bad leads? So in this situation, you might have a sales marketing alignment issue on your hands. So if your business doesn't have an agreement in place between how many and what kind of leads marketing must deliver to sales, then you need to sit down together and create one before you do lead scoring. Okay, so either you're not getting enough leads over to sales, or you are getting leads over to sales, but sales are coming back saying they're bad. And the third thing is, do you have enough lead data to implement lead scoring? So to implement like a really good lead scoring system, you need to have those 2 pieces of data. So the demographic information captured by your forms, and also the behavioral data on how a lead interacts with your website. So make sure you're collecting the right data first. You might need to update your lead generation forms. You might want to introduce that progressive profiling I looked at. And also, you might not be tracking today what leads are doing on your site? So are you using your analytics correctly? So you just want to make sure you have enough lead data and good data to implement lead scoring. So if you can answer yes to all three of these questions, then there's a good chance your business could benefit from lead scoring, and it's something you should proceed with. If not, then these are mainly the three things you might need to tackle as a business before implementing lead scoring. Okay, guys, we're almost right on time, so I'm just going to do a quick recap. 3 reasons why lead scoring is important. Marketing and sales alignment. Sales are getting good quality leads over from marketing. Very important. Focus on those higher quality leads. As I mentioned, you only want to be sending those high quality leads over to sales and be able to identify those. And efficiency gains. So lead scoring is an automated system. So once you've got it set up and it's working for you, it'll be firing in the background, as leads convert, as they do different activities on your website. Some lead scoring best practices. Stick to the 0 to 100 point scale to begin with. Okay, don't make it overcomplicated. Use progressive profiling to capture better data. So have a look at your existing forms in HubSpot and just check if are you asking the key questions? Are you asking enough of them? And are you getting the right data? And can you use the smart forms to queue up different questions the next time someone visits your site and wants to download something? And as I said, start off small and build gradually. So if you probably think you need to look at 10 key metrics of what makes the perfect marketing Mary, but you only have 5 of those metrics, then maybe start with those 5 and then build it up gradually and slowly. So I have a few next steps. So these are kind of my asks for you. So the first thing is to decide if lead scoring is for you. So ask yourself those 3 questions, be honest, and if you have issues, if you answer no to any of those 3 questions and you want to have a conversation with me, then let's have that conversation first. So if you need more leads, better quality leads, then let's have that conversation. Are you getting enough of that data? Let's have that conversation first. Talk to your sales team. So this could be maybe the most difficult thing to do, is actually sit down and talk and say, look, what makes a good lead? What are the type of leads that you're closing on a regular basis? Are you getting any bad leads? What do those leads look like? So if you just have that chat first, it'll help down the line. If you decide a lead scoring is for you, if you've talked to your sales team and everyone's shaking hands and high-fiving, excited about lead scoring, there's a lead scoring project in your HubSpot portal. So if you just go to productivity projects and just search lead scoring, you'll find step-by-step instructions on how to set up a good lead scoring system. If you have any follow-up questions after this, please email me. So phayes@hubspot.com. I'll be happy to help you out with any lead scoring questions you have. And number 5, survey. So I'm going to send a survey out after this webinar, and I'd just like to get your feedback on the content, the presentation, and also if you'd be interested in exploring other topics of the HubSpot portal. Okay, cool. So now I'm just going to go into the Q&A section. So we're right on time. And I just want to start with one question that I get kind of asked a lot. And it's around like, is a lead score dynamic and does it stay on a contact record? And the answer is yes and no. So it depends on the criteria that you are scoring a lead based on. So let's just say you've set up a contact to be scored 20 if they've visited your website in the last 30 days, okay? That score is going to be temporary because it's time-based. So if they visited your website in the last 30 days, they're going to get stamped, they're going to be given that score of 20. And then if that expires, they're going to go back. So they're going to lose those 20 points, okay? If it's set up, has this customer visited my website, and it's a yes or a no, then a score like that will stay. Okay, so when a contact no longer meets the criteria for a lead scoring rule, they'll no longer keep the points for that rule. Okay, and the example to think about there is page visits in the last 30 days. Okay, and the lead score updates dynamically. Okay, so you can go in and sense check it if you feel like it. Go in and test the contact. But once you have your scoring system set up at the different metrics, you should have confidence that these people are being scored correctly. Okay. Another question is around lead scoring and automation. Okay, so you're a marketing team. You're really, really busy. How can you create automation around lead scoring? And the way is kind of what I demonstrated there. So it's around creating those smart lists of contacts above or below a certain lead score, HubSpot score, and then enroll those people in a workflow. And it could be like people with a low score, you're going to engage them with some more marketing material. Hey, have you checked out our latest offer? Or it could be an administrative email to like, these people have a high score, maybe you should get on a phone call with them. And I have one question through the module. And we currently use lead scoring, and we find it very useful by testing current customers. Would you suggest making amends to our current lead scoring setup? So the great thing is with lead scoring is that you have complete control and flexibility to go in and update your lead scoring system as you see fit. So let's just say, so this whole lead scoring thing, it's going to be, you're going to go through a cycle of feedback. So you're going to implement it. It's going to go over to sales and amount might bounce back. Why did it bounce back? Can you bake that into the lead score? So I would say you've complete flexibility to update your lead score as and when you need, based on your business requirements, if they shift or if you figure out any kind of new information. Okay, so we're almost at 40 minutes. I've been talking to myself a lot. So I'm going to give you back some time. I really hope you enjoyed that webinar. Thanks a lot for attending. And you should expect a survey from me later this afternoon. So I hope that was really helpful. And yeah, thank you very much. Okay, have a great day. Bye.